Hello, we're getting ready for Chapter 1 test tomorrow, folks, and test preparation for Algebra 1AB, Chapter 1 is as follows. We've got 9 questions today, believe it or not, 9 questions. So, this first one is using the associative property to write an equivalent expression for parentheses, x plus y plus z. And I'd love to hear who got this one. It should be pretty straightforward. Katrina?
Okay, so it's x plus, and then in parentheses, y plus z.
That look good to you? Everybody get that?
Yeah.
And then we box it, right? That tells us it's an answer. Good job. That was pretty straightforward. You need to know, for tomorrow, you need to know your associative properties, commutative properties, and identity properties. And the identity property is right here. Okay, so we're going to go over this question here. Are there any questions on number 1? No? All right, so on number 2, this is actually an easy question, except it's worded in a way that makes it difficult. So if you pay attention to this now, you won't have to ask me tomorrow. Yeah, that should work. There you go. It should. There it is. Yeah, you got it. Write an equivalent expression for 3 over 7 using 4 over 4 for 1. What's 1 times anything? 1. No. What's whatever that number is. So 1 times 3/7 equals 3/7, right? What about 2 over 2 times 3/7?
It's 6 over 14.
6 over 14. Would that be an equivalent expression?
3 over 7, yes.
No.
Yes, it would. 6 over 14 would be equivalent to 3 over 7. Okay? But they want you to use 4 over 4 times 3 over 7 to get that particular equivalent expression. So Taylor, what would 4 over 4 times 3 over 7 be? Any idea? Yeah, we'll write it out. 3 over 7, you rewrite it, 3 over 7 times, now we're in a different color here. 4 over 4, which is actually just 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My pens aren't working too great. Okay, 4 over 4. And it equals, what, 12 over?
28.
Good job, thank you. And now how come that's not, do we simplify that now? No, because in this case, yeah, it would just, exactly, it would just go back to 3 over 7. All they're trying to show you is the identity principle. That 1 is the same thing as a number over itself, and that when you multiply it by 1, or anything, a form of 1, like 4 over 4, you get an equivalent fraction. Okay? That's all that question's really trying to show you. And it's just funny the way it's worded. So practice this. You know it's going to be on there tomorrow. There'll be 2 questions like this tomorrow. So using formulas. And the first one, you basically need, this is very simple formulas right now. Distance equals rate times time. And they're really just telling you all the information in the words that you need to put into the formula. So please read it, Ari.
Find the distance
D.
traveled by a truck moving at a rate of
R.
55 miles per hour for the time
T.
of 8 hours using the formula.
Wait, I just
D
T
equals
equals
R.
RT.
There we go. Nice.
it shouldn't in the question it say miles is not miles per hour. Can you get more
No,
money?
rate is miles per hour.
But isn't that includes the time?
I'm going to show you. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but it's
Miles
you'll
per hour.
see why in a
After
second.
you-
That's a really good question, and you'll see why in about 2 seconds. First of all, D equals RT. So we just simply create pockets around the information we don't have, but we are given. This is R and this is T. And guess what, Bernadette? Where is R? What is the rate?
55.
55. And we can put miles per hour. And what about here? What is the time, Jonathan?
Huh?
What was the time that this truck traveled for? How long did the truck drive for?
No, 8 hours.
8 hours. 8 hours. And guess what happens when you multiply those? What happens to the H's, Michael? They cancel. Boom, boom. And what are we left with? The distance is? What's 55 times 8?
440.
440? What?
Miles.
Miles.
Miles per hour.
Miles, not miles per hour. Because we had miles per hour multiplied by hours, the hours canceled, right, Carolyn?
Right.
And we're left with just miles. Distance is
So
miles.
it cancels the H.
Yeah, the H is canceled. And that's why this was okay to have it in miles per hour. It works like that. Distance equals rate times time. That's the formula, trust me, it works. Distance equals rate times time. Does it make sense? How far is 440 miles from LA? Huh? Where do you think this truck was going? The truck was going at a rate of
Vegas.
55 miles. It could be Vegas. It could be even a little farther than that. It might be San Francisco. In fact, I think San Francisco is about 400 miles from here.
Tijuana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? So
CJ is like a little closer, I think.
it's closer.
It is, yeah. And I don't know, Las Vegas is 4 hours, which is about, it's a little less.
About 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it's always good in these questions. It's always good in these questions to think about them in real terms, you know? If this were a real life situation, what would it be? Does it make sense? Do trucks go 50 miles an hour? Yes, they do. Some of them go faster, but 55 is kind of an average. Maybe this textbook is old. Maybe that's sort of back a few years. But then again, trucks went even faster before that. So but there was a time when there was a speed limit of 55. And
the speed limit
it was
55
around the
still?
time of the OPEC oil crisis in the 70s. They actually pulled back the speed limits way back to 55 in a big uproar. And you know, they're trying to save gas and save lives. But then a lot of people pointed out that all the money they were losing in business, when you go that slow, people can't get from A to B as fast, and that means that we can't be as competitive in business. So that was another, you know, so there's a trade-off, and now we're back to 70 on the major routes, right? Good. So now we're back down to here. Number 4, you're going to get problems on distance, rate, time. You're going to get area problems. You're going to get perimeter problems. Area problems. It's always good to do to make a diagram if you can. What kind of diagram would we do here with a basketball court? Ari, go ahead and read it.
I knew you were gonna. Find the area of a basketball court
A,
with length of 26
L,
meters and width
W.
of 1,400 centimeters using the formula A equals L times
W.
width.
Good. So the formula is length times width. We know that, but it's always good to draw a diagram. Get in the habit of it, folks. So our basketball court will be something like this, and if this is W, then this will be length. All right? And we're actually given those values, so we might as well draw them in. Length is equal to what?
26.
Meters. And width is?
That was
Uh-oh. Hold on a second. They're in different, one's in meters and one's in centimeters. Is that a problem? It is. We have to change them to one or the other. We have to figure out whether how many centimeters in 26 meters, or we have to figure out how many meters is 1,400 centimeters. How many meters is 1,400 centimeters? Does anybody know?
14.
Yeah?
14.
14 meters? So how many meters is a centimeter per meter?
100.
100? Sounds good to me. Is everybody clear with that? So, yeah,
So 100 centimeters is a meter?
is a meter.
100 centimeters.
Does that sound right? Yeah, that sounds about right, right? Because a meter is about 3 feet, right? 3 feet is about this wide, about one big pace, one big step. All right, so the width is 1,400 centimeters is 14 meters. And that makes sense, right? Because a basketball court is going to be more or less, a rectangle is symmetrical to some extent. 14 meters width is shorter than the length, which is 26 meters. And that makes sense. You're not going to have 140 meters, right? You're not going to have 1.4 meters. Doesn't make sense. So how do we find the area now? The area is, what is it?
Length times width.
That's right. So what do we put in our pockets? A equals pocket times pocket. What's the length? What do we put in the first pocket, Kia? Length.
Yeah, the length.
What is it?
6.
26 meters. And what's the width? 14 meters. See, we had to convert it. Now when you multiply those together, be careful, what do you get? 26 times 14 equals what? Is it? 344?
364.
364.
Yeah.
Oh.
And is it meters?
Square.
Meters or what? Meters.
Square.
It's meters squared, good. Meters squared. There it is, folks. Because area is always in meters squared.